What's up, Facebookers and YouTubers? All 10 of you? 10. I'm 1/10 of the way there. Only need 100. So, the 100th one is going to get this Cincinnati Red shirt that I wore to my first baseball game ever. That is signed by some of the finest homeless heroin addicts. Two of these signatures, I actually went down an alley, and these guys were about to shoot themselves in the arm with a needle. Kind of freaked me out a little bit, but I'd already committed, so I asked them to put the needles down and showed them a pin. They were more than happy to sign this shirt just to get me the hell out of the alley so they could continue their shit. Whew. Yeah, it's not always good to walk down an alley. Anywho, I'm going with a think outside the box Thursday. I'm trying not to think that's that far outside the box. It'll get you in trouble. 100th subscriber. Just saying. It's a nice shirt. Good stories on it. Thanks for liking the video. Thanks for the comments. I am going to do a Fitness Friday tomorrow. I believe that's what I'm going to go with. And this is, again, more for people with surgeries. Getting out and getting a walk-in doesn't necessarily mean if you have a full-time job and you're working that you should do the walk-in in the morning. It just means get a walk-in inside your office, up and down some stairs. Try to get the walk-in. If you're recovering from surgery and you're stuck in your house and you need that little kick in the ass to get up and go do something, hopefully this does it. Again, I was stuck. I was absolutely stuck. I couldn't do a whole lot from being a mental block, thinking that I couldn't and I shouldn't, to just being in pain and not wanting to. And that's part of what all of this will end up being in the fitness side. It's not for the guy that's ready to go out and do hardcore lifting and get stronger and all that. You want that? Go to, on Facebook, I think it's the 44, Shane Stockler. From what I hear, guy's got his shit together and knows what he's doing inside a gym. My side, mouser size, baby. Little tiny baby weights, little bitty waters. It's great. And patience. You will learn patience. It was a great day today. The sun was out most of the day. And I want to jump right into the story because I actually have some work to do today. Gosh, I wish I had more money. I could sit around and do this crap all day. So thinking outside the box. Every aspect of our life, you've got to think outside the box. From people like Einstein, thought outside the box. That gave us space flight. Pythagoras gave us space flight. All of those people in our past that thought outside the box have created this world that we all live in as human beings. And thinking outside the box in your daily life, you never know what you're going to be able to accomplish. If everybody else is doing the same thing, and it just seems like you're banging your head up against the wall, doing the same thing constantly, think outside the box. My story, basic training. This was before they made me platoon sergeant, and I'm pretty sure the reason that they called me up and burnt me up for an hour and a half while grilling all the other soldiers at 2x2. So, it was 11:30 at night or so. We were already in our bunks and sleeping. They come up, one guy, Drill Sergeant Parker. Oh, he's a good guy, though. Called us out, towed the line, and as we're standing there, he's walking through our barracks, just trashing it with Comet. If you don't know what Comet is, it is a powdery substance, very gritty, and it's used back in the day to like clean bathtubs and stainless steel sinks and shit. But he had taken it and just spread it all over our barracks, all over our bunks, all over the floor, all over our lockers. It was everywhere. And then had a big fan at the end of the hallway and started throwing it into that fan, and it was just blowing everywhere as we were standing there towing the line in the hallway. And so we had 30 minutes. That was our game plan. He gave us 30 minutes to get it cleaned up and everything put back to the way it was for him to inspect before we could go back to bed. So 30 minutes go by, he comes up, and we're nowhere near it. 60-some guys, and I mean, I was 27 listening to a bunch of kids cry and whine because it was an impossible task. And burn us up after he came up, wasn't done, burn us up for about 15 minutes or so. Then he left, gave us another 30, and I'd tried to deal with it, but I was just getting more and more ticked off. I was tired and listening to these guys whine. We didn't get anything accomplished because everybody was bickering about how to do it, and we only had so many towels, and it just turned into a mess. So he came back up, we weren't done, burn us up. So after he left that time, I was like, oh, Get the shams, which a sham is the little like pillowcase that goes over the mattress. Then you put a sheet on. Then you put your blanket on. And then you tuck the corners. Basically, all it is, thing that goes over the mattress that they never checked. They never checked it in the three weeks or so that we were there. They come in, they check our corners. They never checked for that sham. So I got everybody to get all their shams off of the mattresses. So we had 60 of these huge single bed shams. Everything was able to be wiped super fast. Told them, take them down to the end of the hallway, put them in the lockers that nobody uses, and the drill sergeants I know damn well don't go down there. So we got it all cleaned up. Everybody got their bunks made. Shams are now stuffed in those back lockers, praying that they don't go back here. I mean, they never checked their shams, so now it was just like a sweat and balls moment where you're standing at attention and he's going through trying to figure out how we got it all done, and he didn't burn us up, and he sent us back to our bunks. But what I didn't know is that he had asked some of the other recruits, like, how the hell do you guys do this? And they didn't tell him about the shams, but they told him about me. And I didn't know this at the time, and I think that's what led to me being pulled up into the drill sergeant's office and getting burned up for an hour and a half while they called him up 2 by 2 to ask if I'd been stealing their lunch money. Watch the video. That's a very funny story. So I knew that we were going to be able to get those shams on our Sunday, get them all washed and cleaned up and back on our bunks before the Monday, and we'd be good. And I got caught eventually. At the end of the 8 weeks of training, we had to turn all that stuff in. And when we turned it in, drill sergeant was up in the front, and we're standing there. I can't think of the name, but you know, you're in front of the building where you got to turn in all your sheets and shit to get new stuff because it was one-stop training. I know I'm getting off track. But they had missed one sham. There was one sham missing and we went, 5-6 weeks without incident. And then when we go to turn stuff in, there was one sham missing. I had to sprint back to the frickin' barracks, which was not close, find that sham in that locker, bring it back, and explain myself. But what I didn't know at that time, while I was gone, they had already asked 3rd Platoon why that sham was missing. And then when I got back, Drill Sergeant Dixon was her name. She was actually impressed. Like, I didn't get in any trouble. I mean, there wasn't anything to get really in trouble about, but she was actually impressed that thinking outside the box. And that's what she said. Like, I can't believe you thought outside the box and that you made it this far. But I know that's a goofy story, and there's a lot more to it that I can't really go into. But at the same time, it applies. It applies to this lesson, kids. You need to think outside the box. There's no reason to be afraid to think outside the box. Fear is natural, and a fear is what drives us at the same time. You have to embrace that fear and just accept the fact that if you don't try, you're going to live in fear your entire life. If you don't try to think outside the box, you're going to keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over again. And it's just not a way to live. It's not a way to live at all. Thinking outside the box will help you to accomplish things that you've never thought imaginable. And the more you educate yourself, the more you read books, the more that you research things online, the more that you look up to people that think outside the box, the better your life is going to be. I don't have a lot of time to keep elaborating on this, but thought. Everything begins with a thought. That basic, simple thought. I thought of something today, and I'm telling you, within minutes, something related happened in that thought process, or what I had thought about happened shortly after. And I can tell you this happens to me on numerous levels and uncountable times throughout my days, my weeks, my years. It's happened, and I believe this. I didn't read this out of some Buddhist monk book or some kind of cult. I know it. I feel it. Thought. If you change your thoughts, you'll change the thoughts of the people around you and make the world a better place. And when I say change those thoughts, change them for the better. Change everything you do for the better. And believe it. That's a huge thing. Actually believing it. If you don't actually believe it, you just think it, it's not going to work as well. But if you actually believe it and you put thought into what it is that you're thinking about, You can make things change. I promise. Everybody have a great Thursday. I hope the story was okay. I'll have better ones. I'm just getting started at doing this thing that I have no idea what I'm doing. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Kids, listen to your father. I'm telling you, he knows what he's doing. Later.